These movies were so controversial, some got banned, others were buried by their own studios, and one almost never saw the light of day. But they created some of Hollywood's biggest stars. Let's jump in. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Rewind X. Today we're diving into 8 incredible dark crime thrillers from the 1980s that launched major careers, earned Oscar nominations, and pushed limits that modern Hollywood is too scared to touch. These are the gritty movies that remind us what adult films looked like before endless sequels and superhero movies took over. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into it. Number 1. Trouble in Mind, 1985. Trouble in Mind exists in a world that feels like a strange dream, mixing classic detective movies with futuristic dystopia. It's set in the made-up Rain City, but was filmed completely in Seattle. Chris Christopherson plays Hawk, a tired ex-cop released from prison who drifts back into the criminal world. Keith Carradine shows up as Coop, a young man whose slow moral breakdown is shown through his increasingly crazy appearance. Wild hair, too much makeup, the whole transformation happening as his morals fall apart. Director Alan Rudolph had worked as assistant director on Robert Altman's Nashville and The Long Goodbye, and that same dreamy, atmospheric feel carries over into every shot here. Roger Ebert gave it 4 stars and ranked it 7th on his Best Films of 1986 list. Marianne Faithfull sings haunting vocals on the title song, her rough voice matching the sad tone perfectly. The film made less than $20,000 in theaters with a budget of nearly $3 million. A total commercial disaster that's become a cult classic for anyone who loves their crime movies with a surreal twist. Number 2. The Hit, 1984. Terrence Stamp plays Willie Parker, a criminal who snitched on his gang partners and has been living in hiding in Spain for 10 years. When 2 hired killers finally find him to take him to his death, he shows a strange, almost calm acceptance of what's about to happen. John Hurt plays the experienced professional killer, perfectly cast against the types of hurt, vulnerable characters he usually plays. Tim Roth makes his first big movie appearance as the unstable young partner learning the trade. Fun fact: the Clash singer Joe Strummer was originally being considered for Roth's part, but his band members said no. That's when Strummer suggested Roth based on his acting as a skinhead in Made in Britain. That one suggestion started Roth's entire career. Hotenam. Director Stephen Frears made this movie with music by flamenco guitar player Paco de Lucia. The music makes the Spanish countryside feel like a modern cowboy movie. It didn't make money when it came out in 1984, but it's an absolute gem of a film if you haven't watched it. Number 3. Crimes of Passion, 1984. Ken Russell was never a filmmaker who played it safe, and the British rebel behind Tommy and Altered States brought his challenging style to this psychological erotic thriller starring Kathleen Turner at the height of her post-Body Heat fame. She plays a fashion designer who secretly works as a prostitute named China Blue, while Anthony Perkins stalks her as a crazy street preacher carrying a sharpened weapon. 5 separate times, the MPAA rejected the film, refusing to give anything less than an X rating despite Russell's repeated cuts. Turner took the role against her agent's advice and later called it some of her best work, praising Russell for making her brave enough to take risks. The film struggled in theaters but found its audience on home video, and the result is a movie that walks the line between art house challenge and exploitation sleaze. Turner delivers a fearless double performance as a woman keeping 2 completely separate lives apart, with Anthony Perkins overacting as only he could in his post-Psycho years. Number 4. Mona Lisa, 1986. Neil Jordan had only directed 1 movie before Mona Lisa, but this film proved he was a major talent and led to The Crying Game years later. Bob Hoskins plays George, a small-time London criminal who just got out of prison and takes a job driving a high-class escort around the city's criminal underground. Kathy Tyson, in her very first film, plays Simone, the classy woman who slowly reveals the dangerous reality of her life. Jordan originally wrote a harder, more violent script, but after meeting Hoskins, everything changed. He spent 2 weeks rewriting to focus on George's basic goodness and his honest confusion about understanding women. Michael Caine agreed to play the threatening crime boss specifically to help his friend Hoskins. George Harrison's Handmade Films produced the movie for about $2 million, and the investment paid off big time in award recognition. Hoskins won almost every major award that year. The Academy nominated him for Best Actor, though Paul Newman won for The Color of Money. The Criterion Collection put out a restored Blu-ray in 2021 with quality approved by Jordan himself, so it's easy to find if you want to see why Hoskins became a star. Number 5. Streets Smart, 1987. This is the movie that turned Morgan Freeman into a major movie star. Before this, Freeman had spent years acting in shows like The Electric Company, TV movies, soap operas, and small supporting parts. But none of that helped him get big leading roles until he played Fast Black, a dangerous Times Square pimp who gets mixed up with a journalist played by Christopher Reeve. Here's the story. The journalist makes up a fake magazine article about a pimp. When Fast Black realizes the made-up story sounds exactly like him, he uses it to help himself during a murder trial. The Academy gave Freeman a nomination for Best Supporting Actor, though Sean Connery won the award for The Untouchables. Director Jerry Schatzberg filmed the movie mostly in Montreal, and Cannon Films put it out in theaters. But as Christopher Reeve later said in his autobiography, the studio let the film die at the box office without any advertising or marketing. It only made barely over $1 million in theaters, which was really sad. But Freeman's career took off after this, and never stopped. Number 6. The Bedroom Window, 1987. Curtis Hanson spent years working in Hollywood before becoming the Oscar-winning director of L.A. Confidential. The Bedroom Window represents his first major studio thriller, a Hitchcock-style mystery based on a 1971 book called The Witnesses. Steve Guttenberg, who was huge in comedies at the time, plays a man having a secret affair with his boss's wife, and that wife is French icon Isabelle Huppert. When she sees an attack from his bedroom window, they create a plan where he reports the crime as if he saw it himself, all to protect her from scandal. The lie spins dangerously out of control from there. Huppert didn't make another English-language movie for 7 years after this. Critics pointed out the film's similarity to Rear Window, which the title deliberately references. As with an $8 million budget, the film earned around $12.5 million, making it one of the only modest commercial wins on this entire list, the rare case where a gritty little thriller actually made a profit. Number 7. The Long Good Friday, 1980. The Long Good Friday went through one of British cinema's most famous distribution fights before audiences ever saw a single frame. Finished in 1979, the film sat unreleased because investor Lou Grade thought its IRA storyline was too sympathetic to put out. Handmade Films bought the rights and finally gave it a proper theatrical release after all the drama. Bob Hoskins plays Harold Shand, a London gangster trying to go legitimate through a massive real estate deal in the Docklands, only to find his empire under attack from forces he doesn't understand. Helen Mirren plays his sophisticated partner, with a young Pierce Brosnan making his film debut as an IRA assassin. And the screenplay's references to future Olympic development in the Docklands turned out to be strangely accurate when London hosted the 2012 Olympics at that exact location. Critics consider this the ultimate British gangster film, and they often say that without it, Guy Ritchie's Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels probably wouldn't exist. The BFI ranked it 21st on their list of the greatest British films ever made, which puts it in elite company for a movie that almost never got released. Number 8. Cohen and Tate, 1988. Eric Red made his name writing two of the decade's best genre scripts, The Hitcher and Near Dark, the second one co-written with Kathryn Bigelow. For his directing debut, he stripped everything down to the basics. Two mismatched hitmen driving a 9-year-old witness across Texas to kill him, with the entire movie basically happening inside a car as the boy plays his captors against each other to survive. Roy Scheider, best known as the hero of Jaws, plays Cohen, the cold professional. Adam Baldwin, fresh off Full Metal Jacket, plays Tate, the explosive hothead. The MPAA gave the movie serious problems during post-production, giving it an X rating because a child was involved in the dangerous situations. It only made $45,000 in theaters. But if you're looking for a tense, tight thriller where professional killers slowly fall apart while a smart kid uses their weaknesses against them, you won't be disappointed. So there you have it. 8 dark, gritty crime thrillers from the 1980s that deserve way more recognition. These movies pushed boundaries, launched careers, and showed us what cinema looked like when filmmakers weren't afraid to take risks. Which one are you most excited to check out? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to Rewind X for more deep dives into forgotten cinema. I'll see you in the next one.